the Timeout, Nelson Sam, and today's episode 19 of the Timeout. Sorry about the no upload for 3 days. We've been a little busy. I know it's kind of hard to be busy, but we have been looking over a lot of YouTube podcasts how to get better at this. But anyways, on to the first topic, the Last Dance review. Our Last Dance review, excuse me. Now your thoughts on The Last Dance?
Best documentary I've ever watched. It's also the only documentary I've ever watched, but it's still the best.
Yeah,
I learned about a lot about Michael Jordan I didn't know.
This is one of the best documentaries I've ever seen. This is the best documentary. Best thing I've ever watched on TV. I hope that the Tom Brady documentary is just like this. If you haven't seen the new Tom Brady documentary, is coming out next year. This is the best thing ever, and I have one of the days. What's your worst day to you? My worst time was episodes 3 and 4 because they went over a lot of Dennis Rodman. And Dennis Rodman already has his own documentary. It's literally called Rodman if you haven't seen it. I think they went over him a little too much considering they already have a documentary about him. In episode 2,
he's a naughty boy.
I'm skipping, but now what ones do you think are the two worst?
I gotta agree with the Dennis Rodman. Like you said, he already has a documentary. And I mean, Dennis Rodman is a great player and all, but I can't say he wasn't part of the Bulls team. But this is hard to say. All I'm trying to say, I already said it though, but Dennis Rodman didn't deserve his spotlight. I think him and Steve Kerr could have shared the episodes. 3 and 4 could have been shared between Steve Kerr and Dennis Rodman.
Definitely. My favorite 2 episodes are 1 and 2 just because they're the first 2 I watched them right away. I got obsessed. This is literally an addicting show to watch. And the second that Tom Brady documentary comes out, you better believe I'm watching that the second it comes out. Because if it's anything like this, it's gonna be good. But it's definitely a
Yeah, my favorite episodes were 5 and 6. I liked 5 and 6. That was oh my God, Mom, we're watching this on Sunday every night.
Yeah, like I said, Man in the Arena, if that, with Tom Brady, that is anything like this documentary. I want them to come out with a documentary like this every single day.
Yeah, but there's no topping this.
There's another episode. I don't remember which one it was. I believe it was 7 and 8 or 6. It was 7 and 8 or 5 and 6, but I believe it was 7 and 8 with Isaiah Thomas and the Bad Boy Pistons. I think maybe a little bit too much going over them, because they also have their own documentary, The Bad Boys. But it's
I think that was a good part. I think it was 5 and 6. But anyways, I think that was a good part of it. The documentary, that, because that was how Michael Jordan. That was when Michael Jordan won his first championship.
Definitely true.
That's what got the Jordan era started.
Definitely. Episodes 9 and 10 was a little bit. We're just going over this now. We're just talking about it. Episode 10. very interesting at the end. MJ said if they offered every guy a 1-year deal, that they would all sign. And I don't know, because if it's hard to say if excuse me, Phil Jackson would have came back. It's just crazy. If you haven't seen the JJ Redick podcast, we're a little bit piggyback riding them here, but check that out. That's really cool. But they were talking about how did the Trailblazers end up with Sam Bowie? How this all worked? So it's crazy because back then they did a coin toss, right? So the Houston Rockets won the coin toss, and they drafted Hakeem. Even though MJ was like the player of the year that year, the league was big man oriented, and big men were what dominated the game at that time. And the next pick was Sam Bowie, and by the Portland Trailblazers. And the reason they did not take Michael Jordan, ready, one guy that's like changed the history of the game is Clyde Drexler. They didn't take Michael Jordan because they already had a shooting guard in Clyde Drexler. Like, imagine, like, coin tosses literally decided how a single coin toss literally changed the NBA. Like, I'm not even talking like the Bulls got an all-star. Literally, the whole NBA would not be like what it is today without that coin toss, and it's crazy. Could you imagine if Michael Jordan went to the Rockets? I can tell you the Rockets weren't building around Jordan if he went to the Rockets. I can tell you that for a fact because it was a big man league, and they had Ralph Sampson, who was 7'4", and they weren't going to build around a 6'6" guy. And props to Derrick Rose for turning a 6'6" dude into 6 championships. But anyways, on to our NBA list, which is the best players for each jersey number. Make sure you guys check our streams. We'll usually stream about once every weekend, and you guys it'll be basically kind of like an episode. It'll be just a talking episode. We'll take your input and your hot takes from the chat section. But check those streams out if you don't already, because last stream we went over 3 jersey numbers because it was basically an episode. We're not going to go over the NFL drafts and episodes though. But what we have at number 12 is John Stockton as our best player to wear number 12, and our runner-up is Dwight Howard. Okay, pretty obvious there. 13, Wilt Chamberlain. Yes, pretty much obvious. And the runner-up is Steve Nash, who, no, he's not gonna. For number 14, we have the best player being Bob Cousy, and our runner-up being Hedo Turkoglu. If you don't play 2K, you don't know, but if you do, if you know, you know. You know Hedo, you know Hedo. If you know, you know. If you play my team, you know, you know. But excuse me. Anyways, on to This Day in History. This Day in History is obviously May 21st for This Day in History. Today we have Denver Nugget, back in the day when Carmelo played for the Denver Nuggets in 2009, he scored 34 points in the win over the Lakers. It was to tie the series in the Western Conference Finals for 1-1. It was the first time in 24 years that the Nuggets had beaten the Lakers in a playoff game. But the Nuggets did lose in 6 games. But Carmelo Anthony, he used to be a GOAT back in the day. But anyways, on to our next list, the NFL draft class list. Now I believe we're on number 2 for our draft class list.
Baby, I think it's number 1.
But at number 2, we have, what year is it, Nelson? Excuse me, number 1. What year is it, Nelson?
Got the GOAT draft class, 1983, with Hall of Famers, with 8 Hall of Famers, and John Elway, Eric Dickerson, Bruce Matthews, Jim Kelly, Dan Marino, Darrell Green, Richard Dent, and Jim Cover. 42 Pro Bowlers. This draft class is like the GOAT.
The best draft class of all the times.
This draft class is MJ to the NFL. John Elway being top 10 in greatest QBs of all time. Same with Dan Marino. Eric Dickerson, great player. Bruce Matthews, Jim Kelly, Darrell Green, Richard Dent, Jim Covert, all great players. This is like a draft class that's it's hard to beat. It's really hard to beat.
Yes, it is. But anyways, on the road to 40 subscribers, May 25th, we'll do a live stream, like a 40-minute live stream. 37 subscribers right now, guys. We're 3 subscribers off. Make sure you hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. Hit the like button down below. Turn on notifications so you can see our videos before anyone else. Leave your comments down below. Any input on our podcast, anything you want us to debate. But anyways, this is Nelson Sam. Out.